want something hot.
To go.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Kendall. We've got the biggest pop culture stories of the day ready
And hot to go.
Oh, yes, we do. We've got Brittany and Patrick Mahomes welcoming their baby number 3, and it's a girl. We had a baby eats a girl. They named her Golden Ray Mahomes, which makes sense because they have a theme, which is precious metals.
I was like sterling, bronze.
Yep, sterling, bronze, and now we are in golden. I do know, like, in theory, one of those metals is is valued more. So I go, that's not great for the sibling vibe, but
Is she trying to tell us that this is the last one? Like, this is gold. We're done.
yeah, I don't know, right? Because what else could you zinc?
Titanium?
Titanium.
You could have a
Silver.
whole song.
Yeah.
Silver just sounds secondary, though. You know
Or
what I mean?
what's the Black Panther metal that they always talk about?
Oh,
Plutonium?
yeah. No,
No.
it's
It's a made up thing, so why did I even go here?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm nerdy.
Hey, congratulations to them. And she didn't, so I'm assuming then that means she didn't have to be induced. She did just have the baby on the due date or before.
vibranium. It's the same thing Captain America's shield is
Yes,
made out
out of yes.
That has a nice ring to it.
Vibranium.
Mahomes.
My name is Vibramium. You can call me Vibe. It's not so bad. Okay.
Check.
Shh, let's quit saying that name because I might want to use it someday.
Oh, yeah, and your next hypothetical child.
Thank you.
Vibranium.
Okay, so what? You just curse me like I'm an infernal witch?
Hey, it's a Monday.
Hey, it's a Monday. We LOL. We lull it up.
We love it.
So yeah, that what happened yesterday. They had their baby.
On Sunday. How cute.
Very cute.
Something that was supposed to happen, I think over this weekend or during this week. I can't remember. It was January 15th. Was With Love, Meghan. The Meghan Markle series that was going to premiere on Netflix. That was supposed to happen January 15th. She announced over the weekend that they're pushing it back to March 4th. She said, and quote, "I'm thankful to my partners at Netflix for supporting me in delaying the launch as we focus on the needs of those impacted by the wildfires in my home state of California." If you missed it, this new series was going to be, it gave like Martha Stewart vibes.
Yeah.
Very, here's like a couple ways to decorate your house, bring beauty to everyday living, beekeeping, how to make nice cocktails and tea. Very much Martha Stewart vibes. A good idea. I mean, I think that it just makes sense, because if they wouldn't have done this.
Oh, good idea. I bet you're saying it was a good idea for her to do that live, but you're saying good idea to postpone it.
Correct. Like, because if they wouldn't have done this, the amount of vitriol there would have been, it wouldn't have stayed true to their brand. Because speaking of vitriol, naturally, there are people already trying to use Harry and Meghan helping out with the wildfire victims as clickbait. Specifically, we're talking about Justine Bateman. We're looking at you, girl. And when you go, who the hell is Justine Bateman? That's what I did. I said, who the hell is that? Why were you talking about her? She was on Family Ties like forever ago.
Okay.
We talked about her. When was it, Mike, that she was last in the news? Like
around the election. She
Yeah.
had some thoughts about things.
Okay.
And yeah.
So again, she just likes to jump on whatever could be hot and inflame people. She wrote, "What a repulsive photo op they achieved. They are touring the damage. Are they politicians now? They don't live here. They are tourists, disaster tourists."
Wow.
Okay, let's be clear. Let's be clear. Meghan is from LA.
Yeah.
They live in LA. They are public figures that people, I would think, would go, oh, wow, that's really cool. Like, it would bring me a little joy to see them in a time when I could use a little levity in life.
Or just like draw attention to it. I know it doesn't need attention, but like people, I mean, we've got celebrities speaking out left and right. What would you prefer them to do? Because they can fly away. They have many houses in many places where they could fly away and go, see you in a couple years, California, when you rebuild. Or they can say, I would like to help in whatever way. They're not first responders. They're not firemen. What are they? What can they bring to the table? They can bring eyes. They can bring resource, people donating. So it's like, I just have to ask the question, what would you prefer? People disappearing or coming out and helping and saying something?
Preach.
Thank you, doll.
And in the case of these two, no matter what they choose, they lose.
Yes.
Because had they decided to go away, then everyone would have been like, wow, she's from here.
Yeah.
Why isn't she not caring about what's going on in her own hometown? And again, that's one of those things. You can love or hate Harry or Meghan for whatever reason you want to love or hate Harry or Meghan, but don't take this opportunity in this moment when they're trying to do good to then just decide, oh, this is why they're awful.
You can apply this to almost most people who are volunteering. Like, we've done it. We go places and we want to bring attention to them. Now, at Ronald McDonald, were they like, hey, we're so thankful you guys made these pancakes because if it wasn't for your... No. We were there to draw attention to this amazing organization here in the Twin Cities. And it's like, okay, so if you don't use whatever platform you have to try to bring people and things and situations that are near and dear to your heart up, then what are you doing?
It's so true. It's just ridiculous. And like, you're seeing this so much with the wildfires with a lot of different aspects of it. I mean, we were talking before the show about this video that's gone viral. It's been shared by multiple different sources about a man. He's just so excited to see his dog.
Yeah.
And so many disgusting people in the comments are like, why would you leave your dog behind? Y'all, number one, his sister hopped on and said, hi, I'm so-and-so's sister. This is my brother. He has rescued 5 dogs in his life. He loves them. He was not home when the evacuation started, which, by the way, people had like less than an hour to evacuate. He was not allowed to go back up. He's been trying to get to this dog ever since the fire. This is a beautiful moment. 99% of people whose dogs have been left behind or cats or other pets didn't mean to leave them behind.
No.
They couldn't take them because they weren't there and they couldn't access the home.
Yeah.
Like, people are so gross. You can't even share a loving video.
You just have no idea. And the fact that even in these situations, we're having people poke holes. Why didn't you bring your dog to work? Did you bring your dog to work today?
Right? Like, gross. Grow up.
And just take a beat. Like, if you don't have the ability to remember that everybody has like different situations, and if you have the inability to do that, maybe don't join the conversation. Like,
Amen. Ish. Good news is that Meghan and Harry have been out volunteering. They did put the show on pause. So many celebrities are donating money. I know, Britt, you've got like a whole list of people who have been donating things.
Which is good. I love seeing when sometimes these things happen, you have to go, all right, what are some positives that are happening? And we do have some celebs that are stepping up. I just saw that Mandy Moore, who begged her brother to get more money. She donated a bunch of money. We have Beyonce. Beyonce gave $2.5 million.
Be Good steps up. Her charity always steps up.
Walt Disney gave $15 million. Paramount and Fox Corp handed over $1 million. I know Taylor Swift gave $10 million.
Always T-Swifty, always.
Yep. And then Travis Kelce, $1 million as well. I know Paris Hilton, I believe, I forget her number.
She did a match. She did a starter, asked people to donate, and then
$100,000 and matching additional dollars raised up to $100,000 more. So she is definitely going to end up giving probably $200,000 to $300,000.
Dang.
I know Kim Kardashian, and it's funny because Kim Kardashian has given in a couple different ways. Her personally, she's donated, and then on top of it, she is donated meals, and her company Skims, especially with the backlash that they had with having their sale.
Yes.
They donated as well. So we've got there's a huge list of people that are saying, all right, I know one of the first ones to kick it off was Jamie Lee Curtis gave $1 million last week saying, this is what we need. We need money. We need resources. That's like number one right now.
And Meghan mentioned the fact that Netflix was willing to work with her and push back the start date. Netflix also, just before we jumped on here, gave $10 million for the efforts as well. So again, these not only individuals, but these networks and studios stepping up as well.
And Kendall's mentioned this as well. It's like this is a time where giving blood is so important, giving plasma, giving blood, because there's going to be a lot of emergency services that need it. We're already in a situation where the American Red Cross was saying we need people to donate. So if that's something that you can think about giving, it's not, I know we're not always in a situation where we can give money, but think about maybe doing that.
And they did, we mentioned this last time we talked about the Red Cross. I'm glad you brought it up, but they did last year change who can donate to the Red Cross. Finally, LGBTQIA folks can donate. And so if that's something that you've always wanted to do, but then you've been like, hey, it's really ridiculous. They have these outdated standards. They have finally updated it. So you can help. That's a great idea, Brett. Like, that's such an easy way to help people, unless you're Mike. And you're going to faint at all that blood and needles.
You're not helping. You're actually taking
hurting.
away. You're hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you do.
By the way, can we mention this like funny little thing that happened? It's not funny, but like it's funny because you're like, you know what? Yes, this is a way we can get behind somebody. Heidi Montag, Spencer and Heidi from the Hills.
Yeah.
Their house burned down. They've been very open about it. It's been, the videos, like, you don't have a soul if you don't feel for these people.
Yeah.
Right? And for anybody whose house burned down, regardless, the point that, like, is that Heidi's song, which is not good.
No, but I
didn't number one on the charts. And like, because people want to help them, and Spencer did a video and he's just like sobbing about how his wife's song is number one because they get money from that.
Absolutely. So I have so many, and I don't know what it is. I've got such a Spencer Pratt following on my TikTok.
Have the weirdest
I know.
algorithm.
Don't.
AI will
if I die, hey guys, if I die, will you just go ahead and smash my phone in half? Like, I don't need.
I will scrub your TikTok for you.
you.
That is the one thing I can do for
Promise?
you. I promise.
Also check out my night drawer and get rid of that too. But anyways, I digress. Is that Spencer Pratt has really like changed over the years, because it's not the Spencer Pratt you're thinking of. I watch videos of him staying still for hours so a hummingbird will land on his hand or on like a little spoon on his mouth or like a stick in his mouth. So like this man.
It says more about you than Spencer, but yes.
Thank you.
Continue.
He's also a huge Swiftie, but like, well, who isn't? So there's videos of people that it says, just minding my business, as they're just continuously streaming her song over and over in their office or wherever. And I'm like, that is so sweet.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So cute.
And I do have to mention another somebody who, it just blew my mind. This man who we would have made fun of so much if we were married to him. Let's call him Jack. That's not his name, but for the sake of the story, Jack decided last time, he lives over in Malibu, right? That's yeah. Mm-hmm. And he decided last time that there was a fire, that he's going to go ahead and invest a bunch of money and buy these little like sprinklers. And he didn't actually put in that much. It ended up being like under $1,000 with everything said and done. And he's like, I'll just have these just in case there's another fire.
And everybody's like, you're crazy.
You're crazy. And can you imagine us? I'd be like, Justin, you're losing it.
You're
like,
unhinged.
What are you? So he made this like sprinkler system that's like ready to go, that he's going to put on his roof if this ever happened again. So he evacuated, did this right before he left. He's the only one that has a house still up in his neighborhood.
Because of his sprinkler system?
Of his little weird sprinkler system he threw on top of the house. And it was like, it just ended up working. Isn't that crazy?
Jack.
I know.
Bless you.
I guess everybody laughs at, when you're inventing something new.
And then everybody's like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
You saw this video. I saw a little bit of this, but then you played the full video of this reporter.
Yes.
This NBC reporter is like, was talking about unhinged, like most insane interview ever of Dennis Quaid.
Well, we're lucky enough to have our own TV reporter here on the Brittany and Kendall show. As we know, in a former life, that was Kendall Mark.
My past life.
And we watched this, and me and Mike both are like, is this crazy? And so I'll just tell you what happens, and you guys can make the decision on your own. There was this interviewer who's a local LA news affiliate, or
he works on their morning news team.
Yes. His name is Robert Kovacic. I don't know. Somebody should have told him, this reporter, they should have changed his last name before he started the industry, but I digress.
That's beside the point.
So Dennis Quaid went back to his house. He was lucky enough to have they evacuated their family, and then it was safe enough for him. And so he went back to go get some of his daughter's stuff. He's got a teenage daughter, and we all know that means a lot to have the clothes you want or the things. And it's not everything, but Dennis Quaid went back to get his daughter some stuff. Mm-hmm. He's filling up his car in a very awkward way. And this reporter keeps talking to him. Mm-hmm. And he gives this reporter probably 7 minutes of actually saying, yeah, this is what's going on. And starts giving kind of tips of what to do. And then he goes back to start filling his car. Instead of the reporter maybe pivoting and then walking away, being like, and that was Dennis Quaid. Let's take a look at what's going on,
Right.
He decides then to give commentary as he's like stuffing things in his car and like LOLing it up with Dennis Quaid and like
Everybody wants to see what's in your Mercedes.
Yes. And then he's like, we're not going to watch you be able to fit 2 hampers. And like weirdly commentating then on the awkwardness of what he's putting in the car and
like
how
making
he's putting
fun
in
of
the car.
him for what he was choosing.
And still as this is going on, our loving gift of a man, Dennis Quaid, is still throwing out tips. Hey guys, he goes, and this reporter said something about like, even in this, I can't believe the power went out. Dennis Quaid's like, they turned it off. And he's like, what? They turned it off. It's a safety issue. It helps not spread the fire. And the guy goes, thanks for making me look like an idiot.
Well, and he says it with the gas lines, and Dennis Quaid's like, okay, like you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, he goes, make sure you turn your gas. He says another hot tip is, as he's still loading his sedan, again, sedan, like is shoving things in the way that I would pack normally. And this is the man panting frantically. Like, he's trying to shove shut doors, put things in. This reporter's like, Dennis Quaid goes, also turn off your gas line. It'll help not spread the fire. And this guy was like, okay. And he's like, no, I'm serious. I do this.
Then he finally gets into his vehicle, gets that loaded in there, sits down, and then the guy goes back to the cameras, talking, walks up to the front, and Dennis is in there with his dog, and they're just chilling there in the front seat, and the guy's like, oh, you got a dog in there? Tell me about your friend in there. It's like, what? Just let the man leave.
So, like, my first thought is I feel for this reporter. This is not. So when a natural disaster, if something major happens in your city, they pull everybody out. You've got the sports team. You've got this guy who probably like covers like red carpets, celebrity pop culture. That's like his
kind of
vibe
fluffy.
that he gave.
Yeah.
You've got everybody on the hard news beat. So one, that is challenging. I'll give you that. Like that you go, I don't really know how to do this part of this job. I don't do this. But number two, there's someone in your ear telling you, stretch, keep going. We have nothing at the station. Fill. And sometimes you're like, I have nothing else to say.
Yeah.
So you're like, what song and dance can I do? But this got so extreme.
It was so cringe.
It was so
And
cringy.
Dennis-
You got to just throw it back and let them deal with it at the studio.
At that point, you're right. Like, that's why I'd be a terrible reporter where I go, I'm done here. I am done. And I'd just like sit on the ground. Like,
just got to wrap it up and be like, that's all from LA. Barb and Sue, back to you. And Barb and Sue will figure it out.
it's like Ice would be like, hey, guys, I got to get going. I'm going to help Dennis Quaid get this door shut. We're going to get him on the road. Like, make a comment. Go with it. Like,
something.
I'm glad you said that, though, because I go, maybe this guy, you're right. Maybe he's not.
It is definitely not
natural
his beat.
disaster Dan or
Weather
Robert.
is like, no.
Yeah,
it's
maybe
not
he's
his
like,
beat.
maybe he does pet shows. You know what I mean? Maybe he does lookalike contests.
His most notable moments included covering the wedding of Harry and Meghan. He also covered the terrorist bombing in Manchester, England, the manhunt in Maine, the Route 91 Harvest Festival massacre. He's done plenty of horrific things. This is
All right, I can't defend him anymore.
Robert,
Yeah, I can't
you're
defend
on your
him.
own.
Yeah.
We tried, Robert.
I really tried.
Also, like, just like being a human with a heartbeat, you if you didn't feel that was awkward, then I don't know if you can take the temp of any room at this point.
Sad day.
Okay, so we've got some stuff on. We're gonna pivot a little bit. Blake Lively is in a bitter feud amid her split with Deborah Lee Furness, and you're like, who is that?
Like, why does that sound familiar?
Why does that sound familiar? Well, that's Hugh Jackman's ex. So right now, and as we know, Blake Lively has a relationship with Hugh Jackman because
of her husband.
of Deadpool.
Right. Okay.
So you go, okay, it kind of makes sense why she would end up partnering up with Hugh Jackman in some way. Well, this is really pissed off Deborah Lee Furness. So much so she is saying that, well, insiders are saying that she knew they would side with Hugh when they split, but this has disturbed Deb and is a very real possibility that Ryan Blake must have known about Sutton. And now Sutton Foster, is the one where we're not really sure if the timelines overlap. They easily could since they were in a show together. And now currently Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster are together. So they're saying that she's coming from a place of, if they knew and didn't tell me, I swear to God, kind of vibe.
Mike, you're in the blinds of this all the time. Like, do you think that it's pretty valid what she's saying?
Oh, yeah, they knew. This was like a very very everyone knew type of a secret type of a thing. It feels like, at least in the blind items, they were always insinuating that the two of them, since they were working on this project together, people were kind of believing there might have been a little something extra there. Again, but this is nothing new for him. Yeah. I mean, there was an entire article in his book where he talked about the fact that he thought, even though he was married to Deborah Lee Furness for that long, that everyone was like, "Oh, he's closeted. He's a gay man who this is a fake relationship." Exactly. So, I mean, they've joked about that. They've written about that. They've talked about it that way as well. So, I don't know. Again, he's a name that's always.
Yeah.
But the idea of him and Sutton Foster is something that's been thrown out there for a long time before they went public.
Well, and it's so confusing, right? Because, so if you verbalize that you're separating from your significant other, some of you can view that as a separate. That's where it gets very confusing. Now, divorce doesn't happen until everything's finalized on paper. So it could be, and I'm not defending Hugh Jackman, but I'm saying that's why it's never so clear when somebody says, "Hey, we're separated."
Right.
And you're like, okay, if Blake and Ryan felt that, and like as a friend of, you just kind of believe that like that is true. Mm-hmm. But there's no like formal process of being like, you don't have to like, I declare bankruptcy. I declare separation. You know what I mean? So you wonder that it's easy. It's so often this happens in all the worlds where you go, well, is this person cheating, or are they both in agreement at this date they were separated?
It's obviously Deborah Lee is very hurt.
Yeah.
Like that is what out of all this you get out of it is the fact that she's mad at Blake Lively because she thinks Blake knew that her husband that Hugh Jackman was having an affair.
Absolutely.
And she's coming forward with that information. All that shows me is that one, the separation probably wasn't as amicable as we're like, hey, look at this roses and it's okay. We're separated from our partners and now we're together with Hugh and Sutton. It seems like this is Deborah's way of being like, okay, well, that really wasn't the case. I'm glad it's working out for you, but am I glad? Because actually, I got the short end of the stick on this. You look great. People are really into your new relationship with your younger, new girlfriend, and I'm still sitting here like I just got slapped across the face.
And then you ask, this is just a human experience. It begs you to ask the question, if you do find out, let's say it's very clear they're not separated and you have a friend who is cheating, is that your responsibility to tell the person that you're less friends with?
And doesn't it matter what kind of friends you are, right?
Right? I don't know. And I guess
this is my husband's business associate's
wife.
Like
if Jane and John are married, I'm BFFs with Jane, and I know that Jane is cheating. Am I obligated to tell John? I mean, that's just the human experience right there. And you go, especially when you're dealing with the opposite sex, if I was BFFs with John and he's cheating, do I tell Jane?
I really want to talk about this story that Mike was talking about speaking of separating, because this isn't a relationship separating in the way that we think, but maybe a rep. We know that Bieber and Scooter Braun are done.
Yeah.
But is there more to this story?
Interesting.
There might be. And now people are jumping on board here. There was a recent story about whether or not Bieber might be making a comeback. Maybe Bieber needs to make another step into the music world and make some money, because remember the cancellation of the tour that happened a few years ago that just kind of happened for his own mental health, basically called it off. There's some reports and some rumors that he perhaps owes some money as a result of that. There's a lot of things that were put in place, a lot of things that were ready to go, and then all of a sudden the plug gets pulled on that. But to your point, we know what happened last week is that he unfollowed Scooter Braun.
Yep.
He unfollowed Scooter Braun. Now, Scooter also has basically said, I'm no longer a music manager. He has stepped away from that.
Okay.
So Hybe, who is the company, and then there's also SB Projects that is above it. That's technically who owns Justin Bieber's rights when it comes to a music standpoint. They still are the owners of his catalog. Okay. So is it possible that he's going to make a step into music? And then the idea I just brought up to the two of you is we've seen somebody have a little bit of success after recently separating from Scooter Braun.
And publicly, taking the public side is very much so has your back. And if you saw that and you said, this is an opportunity I would want to take, this would be a smart time to take it.
It'd be a really smart time. And do we see Justin Bieber in 2025 want to make this little bit of a comeback and pit himself opposite of Scooter Braun? Seems like there's lots of reports and lots of beliefs that might actually be his next step. We'll
By
have
the way,
to see.
people, in case you didn't know, we're talking about Taylor Swift.
Fearless.
Taylor Swift.
Because you're like, who broke up with Scooter Braun? And how am I supposed to know that? Taylor Swift.
We release all of her music. Yeah.
Yes. That's interesting, Mike. Please stay on this. I feel it's very interesting.
And that's your hot to go. Please like and subscribe. Do all the things. Comment. We right back. We ain't scared.
Nope.